Assalamu alaikum, brothers and sisters and brother. This is your brother Kevin Muhammad, the Watchman on the West Coast, bringing you that Abraham covenant, brothers and sisters, bringing you the end of your ride in America, the end of the ride in America that has led to a total nightmare, has led to us fighting for rights that should have been given to us as human rights, but has been denied since our arrival on the shores of the North American wilderness in a ship driven by John Hawkins, in a ship drove by John Hawkins, who called his ship the good ship Jesus. He called his ship the good ship Jesus, brothers and sisters. So when we would escape from slavery uh, on the East Coast, from South Carolina, Georgia, them slave states, we would run to that shoreline, the Pacific Ocean, and we would be looking for that good ship Jesus to take us back home. But it never came, brothers and sisters. It never came. So from that time to this time, they decided to flip the script. Instead of us running back to the shores uh, of the coast of the Atlantic Ocean, they transferred Jesus from a good ship, Jesus, that John Hawkins drove, to the pie in the sky when you die. The pie in the sky when you die, brothers and sisters. How do they transfer that, Muhammad? They transfer that through the modern day net turners. They transfer that running to the shores of the Atlantic Ocean, looking for that good ship Jesus, that John Hawkins, the Englishman, the Chaldean, changed that from what he drove to putting it up in the pie in the sky when you die. And them net turners, them modern day net turners who end up having to go to the school of the called the theologian school. The God say, how can we know unless we have a teacher? And how can we have a teacher lest one be sent? So the enemy sent the teacher for us, brothers and sisters. The enemy sent a teacher for us, and that's your modern day Christians and reverends, modern day Christians. That was never our uh, so called religion, brothers and sisters. Matter of fact, our religion was our nature. We naturally knew how to do what we did far as religion went. And when Master Fraud Muhammad, Father Fonzo Muhammad, found out where we was, he sent a real live God who came in sinful flesh to condemn sin in the flesh. He came in sinful flesh to condemn sin in the flesh. So that live God, Master Farah Muhammad, didn't come to the Christian church, brothers and sisters. He didn't come to the Christian church. He came to Detroit and resurrected. Well, he did come. Let me take that back. That's where he was first seen, in them churches, brothers. But he came to set up his own temple, his own so-called sanctuary house, and he named that house uh, not a mosque but a temple. Not a mosque but a temple, brothers and sisters. And he resurrected and taught those 60,000 Levites and put Elijah in charge of that. And Elijah and the Levites did their job. Levites meaning the priest tribe, the ones who are supposed to go out and preach to the people. But Satan concocted a plan too. He resurrected not priests, a priest tribe, but he resurrected preachers, not to bring you the truth and give you the full knowledge of self, but he raised them to lead you and to guide you into the pie in the sky when you die, to lead you and to guide you into the American dream, to lead you and guide you, brothers and sisters, into a false reality. What false reality is that, Muhammad? The pie in the sky when you die concept. That false reality, brothers and sisters. He told the preachers what to preach and what not to preach. And what was taught not to preach was the Abraham covenant. What was taught not to preach by the Chaldean preachers and reverends was not to preach about the Abraham covenant. They didn't want you to have no knowledge that you had a birthright after your 400 years sojourning in the North American wilderness. They didn't want you to have that in your mindset. So they sent the preachers to school to give them a curriculum, to give them a message, and to pay them. They signed that oath after they got out that school, a contract. And in that contract, they were taught not to teach about the Abraham covenant. Well, what was in the place of the promised land? Muhammad, what did they put in the place? We had to have something to have hope in. Yeah, they gave you a hope. They gave you a dead man's hope. They told you that after all of your suffering, all of your 400 years of abuse, that when you die, that you would go to a heaven in space somewhere. Now they got a telescope that see 300,000 light years away, and they have not spotted heaven yet, brothers and sisters, because there is no heaven in the sky. There is no heaven in the sky, brothers and sisters. Your heaven is the heaven that Master Fraud Muhammad came and taught Elijah and the Levites. And that's what Elijah and the Levites taught, the promised land. They didn't teach no 6 to 7 states next to your enemy. They taught uh, destruction of the place that you will be held at in the North American wilderness. They taught that it would be destroyed by fire, brothers and sisters. That the true hell for the black man and the black woman has been here in the North American wilderness. The true hell for the black man and his black woman is in the North American wilderness under a cruel slave master, the Chaldean, white folks. White folks have been a god over you, brothers and sisters. They have been in control over you since 1555. And the first nigger bot rolled off the assembly line in 1619, starting the 400-year sojourning in this land. 1619 started that 400-year journey after you got out of the prison cell, brothers and sisters, and was delivered into what they umbrella under slavery. And that's when your 400 years started, 1619. And it ended brothers and sisters, in 2019. 1619, add 400 years will bring you to 2019. And the God said in the Bible, the first year after the 400 years, he would come with a plague. They call that the coronavirus, brothers and sisters. So the Chaldean know well of the 400 years. They knew it when Master Farah Muhammad came in 1930 to let us know we had 91 years left of the 400 years. They knew it because in 1948, they took the people that Hitler was burning in his gas ovens, the so-called uh, those who converted to Judaism. They made a state, or they picked a land. It was a few lands that they had to choose from, and they chose Palestine. And they picked that land, and they got a book where a German lady was the reporter. And in that book, she was on the ground where they dropped off after they trained the soldiers of Israelite soldiers, Britain and America, Gog and Magog, Adam and Eve in your Bible, brothers and sisters. Adam and Eve have never been a man or a woman. Adam and Eve has been the nations, which is Britain, the first rose nation that could put sanctions on any nation in the world. And then out of the side of Britain came Adam. Out of the side of Britain came Eve. Give me Eve. Out of the side of Adam came Eve. And that was America. And that was back in the war when they threw the tea in the Boston Harbor. They were denying Britain that they wasn't going to pay tribute to them no more. They wasn't going to collect money and collect taxes and send it back to Britain. They wasn't going to do it. So Britain, of course, sent a army of troops over, and then they had the what they call the American Revolution. So all this took place, brother, and I'm getting into this little history to basically let you know that we have been here for 400 years. We have been prisoners of war, and everything that's led up to this day and this time after our suffering, everything that's happening right now. That's my brother, the watchman on the coast that he's in, was letting you know yesterday. Everything leading up, the 2,500 troops that they sent over in the area of Iran and Syria, the F uh, air jet fighters that they sent over, uh, the Navy that they sent over. That's all got to do with your birthright, with the Abraham covenant. All of them things are transpiring, brothers and sisters, because we are at the end of our 400-year sojourning. And it's time for us to first get a thorough knowledge of self and to go back home. And the one who's to give us this is supposed to have came from the nation of Islam. It was supposed to have came from the nation of Islam because that's what Elijah taught for 42 years, brothers and sisters. That's what Elijah taught, and the Levites for 42 years. Once Aaron, modern day Farrakhan, the Legion, Louis Eugene Ground, have the ION turned around, and now they're talking about not the promised land, brothers and sisters, But basically, what they're talking about is land that's going to get burnt up. Basically, what they're talking about is forgiving the devil. Basically, what the whole concept of the Nation of Islam is speaking on is loving the devil. Nothing about a promised land. Nothing about a messenger of the covenant who will suddenly appear at Elijah's temple to give us that thorough knowledge of self. And he's coming as a refiner to purify the gold and silver. The gold is a softer material than silver, so the gold got purified first of its impurities. That's the elite. But the silver had to stay in a little longer. And the part on the Nation of Islam, once Louis Farrakhan got in, was to flip everything back around. Everything that Elijah did for 42 years, Louis Eugene Grounds, Farrakhan, the Legion, turned it all back around. Turned it all back around, brothers and sisters. But see, Farrakhan had to come about. He had to, brothers and sisters, because the story of the wheat and the Chad and the individual, a man who was going to be sowing his seeds among the weak. The weak was the elite, was the original black man and woman. But the Chaldean, the devil, which Elijah told us that he was, he never said that they wasn't going to be called devils no more. Them are the ones through slavery all the way up into the modern day that was raping that black woman, that was putting that seed in her, that devil seed, and making an enemy for us, a black face white boy, a black face white boy. Louis Eugene Grounds, modern day Farrakhan. That's what you got sitting in the seat right now. And what do Louis Eugene Grounds do? He attracts demons. The world is ruled by the devil and plagued by demons. A modern day spy, a black face white boy. And that's what's in the nation right now. That's why you are so hooked and bent on defending him, because you are a demon yourself. You are a demon yourself. And so we're going to move you out the way, brothers and sisters. The new Nation of Islam is the Watchmen. We are the new Nation of Islam, brothers. What make y'all the new Nation of Islam, Brother Muhammad? I mean, what gives y'all that authority? Who put y'all into position to become that new Nation of Islam? Well, the messenger of the covenant. See, once he came and lifted those seven seals off the book of Revelation, the 22 chapters, he revealed what a demon was. Before then, we didn't know, brothers and sisters. Not only did he reveal who the demon was, who's the dragon, who's the jinn. The thorough knowledge of self is that which we had to receive in order to go back home. So when we couldn't read or write for the 400 years, we lost the knowledge of ourselves. So the book say, my people in the condition for lack of knowledge. So the only one that could give us knowledge is what we was here for. We here for the Abraham covenant and the promise that the God made with Abraham and his seed. So it's only right, brothers and sisters, that the messenger of the covenant will come and give us that information so we can receive the blessing of the Abraham covenant. You understand, brothers and sisters? The Nation of Islam can't do that. So it's left upon us to do that. We, the watchmen, it's left on us. And we know that the Christians can't do it because they got and received a religion of make believe. They have gotten and received a religion of make believe. Go into Google, brothers and sisters. You want to do some research? Go into Google and ask Google about Christianity and when it was laid upon the so called slaves through the house nigger, the house ninja. He was in Master's house and he got taught the Bible, and he was just like in that movie, Nat Turner. They did another version of it, brother, but it's the same old drama. It's the same old drama. Look for your pie in the sky when you die. Be obedient to your master. If he take your coat, give him your pants. All these different things, that's what the modern day preachers are preaching now. And the book of Ezekiel in the 34th chapter, it speaks to the Son of Man. The God is telling the Son of Man, go to the shepherd and ask the shepherd, why is he feeding himself and not the flock? Shouldn't the shepherd be feeding the flock? Today, brothers and sisters, you can see damn well that the preachers is rich as hell, richer than the flock. He's charging 10% to give you a, a song of look for your pie in the sky when you die. A make believe story, brothers and sisters, a false reality. Milk and honey all day, every day up in heaven. That don't even make no sense, brothers and sisters. And who it was left with to give it to you, you got a legion there. You got a legion in Farrakhan who's flipped the nation. Legion, Legion, Louis Eugene Ground. The ION was supposed to be the NOI, has been turned around. So now you got followers that got these suits on, got the last name Muhammad, but that ain't the program they preaching. That ain't the program that Master Farad Muhammad taught. The Levites, that ain't the program that Elijah Muhammad and the Levites back in that day, within them 42 years that Elijah taught, that ain't the program that's being taught today. We have been telling you about that liar, that man of condition, Farrakhan. Been telling you that he denied Master Farad Muhammad. Been telling you that he um, denied the messenger. Been telling you the tape that he did it on back in the 90s. I mean, we ain't specifically told you the exact tape, but if you was in the nation back in the 90s, you heard him tell that he didn't believe. And then in 201, him and Wallace D, once they got interviewed by the one from India, they said they denied, they didn't believe in Master Farad Muhammad as being God or Elijah Muhammad as being his messenger. They told you that right in their face. And then Lewis told you right out of his mouth back in the 90s. So we've been bombarding him with that and letting you know and running the air. Master Suleiman been telling you for 30, going on 32 odd years. Now the Watchmen have been telling you this. So what do Farrakhan do? Right on Juma prayer last Sunday, the 30th of July, He got up on stage and told you out of his mouth again that he was a hypocrite. That Elijah told him at the dinner table that you're going to be my number one hypocrite. He told you again that he didn't believe in Master Farad Muhammad or Elijah Muhammad as the messenger. Told you right out of his mouth. And what did you do, brothers and sisters? You listened to him, and then he told you that it was all to benefit you and that he was the number one man. Come on, man. You can't believe that. You can't believe that. But you ate it up, and you definitely believe it. You ate it up, brothers and sisters, and you definitely believed it. And now you don't want to accept the truth. You don't want to accept your birthright. Instead, you want to do what Farrakhan is going to have you to do. And what he's going to have you to do is the last trick, brother. His last big finale is to get you to take that reparation check and sign yourself out of the contract. Brothers and sisters, do your own research and check for yourself. The man then told you on numerous occasions, the last being the July the 30th, 2023, that he's a hypocrite. And what do? You don't do no investigation, brothers and sisters. He has got a spell on you. So we have to come up with a new nation of Islam. And we have to direct you to Master Suleiman, the messenger of the covenant, so that you can get your thorough knowledge of self, brothers and sisters. You can get your thorough knowledge of self and then prepare to take that ride back to the promised land, Arabia. So, brothers and sisters, I want to share with you how you can make contact. This is the information where you can make contact and join the new nation of Islam to be the real fighters for life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness in your own land. The liberation and salvation of the black nation, the 17 million, not the 34 million, because half of the 17 million is demons, Farrakhan boys. That's what and who he attracts. So, brothers and sisters, you at the hour of temptation, what would you do? Not only is it your life on the line, but is your sons and daughters. If you got grandchildren, brothers and sisters, it's your grandchildren. It's not about you no more, brothers and sisters. It's about your children and your grandchildren. Will you sell their birthright, brothers and sisters, for a few dollars more? The choice is yours, brothers and sisters. The watchmen and women will be giving lectures and telling you about that legion, that man of perdition, and we'll be guiding you to the messenger of the covenant. It's up to you, brothers and sisters. The choice is yours. We won't be bending your arm. We won't be knocking on your door, begging for you to accept. You got to do it for yourself. And the best way to learn about it is to get the thorough knowledge of self, is do a little investigation for yourself. As I came before you, so shall I leave you in the peaceful greetings of Assalamu alaikum.